with your host, Jörgen Jansson.
And now, we're on the air.
Yeah, I love the point of putting a minor explosion at the end of things, you know. That always makes stuff better. Hi, how you guys doing? This is the VIPodcast. I am Vince. I'm your host. I'm a musician. I am a entertainer, and it seems I'm a podcaster nowadays. And yeah, it's time for part 2 of the Robert Engstrand interview. Man, that is a hard name. I mean, I didn't know it yesterday, and I still got trouble with it today. Maybe I gotta go back to school. Hell no, I won't go. Anyway, yeah, part 2 with Bob, and we're gonna go a bit more into some interesting stuff with his gear, and also gonna talk about a little bit of his Dingo times, and hey, a little bit whatever. You're gonna hear it in a bit anyway, so no spoilers here. A little bit spoilers. And at the end of the show, I'm really excited about this. I promised yesterday that I'm gonna be talking a little bit about the new White Flame single, but I can do you one better. I'm not gonna play the whole song for you, because, you know, Thursday's the actual release day, so I'm gonna honor that. But yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit of I Know Where You Live for you. We'll do it after the interview, because yeah, it's not about me yet, but yeah, after the interview, let's have a listen, and I can tell you a little bit more about what the song is about, and how it came about, and what's happening with White Flame now. So see you at the end of the interview, but now let's go back to Cumulus.
You know, have a gig there as well.
What do you actually think about Turisas music? Because it's sort of before you've heard it, and then you hear it for the first time, like, what is this? It takes like a minute to get used to it, because they are so their own thing, really. So
Absolutely, and you know, I have to admit that I hadn't listened to the band before they contacted me, and I didn't even know anybody in the band. Matthias had heard about me somehow and contacted me, and
he probably read your name on the door.
we are actually neighbors, so there could have been like something like that, but no, but yeah, he heard me playing from my apartment. No, I don't know, but the funny thing about Turisas is like people are tagging music genres, like, you know, folk metal. But if I would hear Turisas and then come up with a tag for that, it wouldn't really, I don't know if it would have anything to folk for me to do, because I think that it's very easy to tag, you know, bands. Oh, they have a violin player. Okay, then it's folk music. But for me, I mean, when we are since I joined the band, I don't do anything folkish in the band. You know, I played Hammond. I play more Deep Purple than folk in that band. But I mean, of course I like the material, and it's great to do it live, because, as I said earlier, I'm the first guy who plays keyboard in the band steadily like that. And they gave me the free hands, and I decided to arrange the keyboards, so it's very challenging for me to do those songs, because there's a lot of arrangements, there's a lot of progressive stuff going on, and that's perfect for me. That fits me very well. So the music for me would be, of course the lyrics are very folkish and very, you know, historical, you know, and that's probably where the folk comes in. But for me, it's very progressive and very like progressive, heavy, melodic. Okay, a bit of folk, of course, but yeah, it's difficult to tag music nowadays also, because I think Turisas is a very complex mix of everything. You know, you have the growling, you have the melodies, you have the epic, you know, string orchestra thing. So so it's it's, you know, people should maybe stop tagging and just start enjoying.
Yeah, definitely. Just listen to sound music, but yeah, that's really a big thing. The sort of like historic thing, and that it's pretty accurate actually what Matthias does the lyrics and the stories, and the albums always have this kind of a tale that they can tell, which is really interesting and probably really challenging. But I mean, I remember they were doing the first album and he went for just one song. He had to go to the, I don't know what it's like, the Helsinki library or something like historic, and he had to go to some archives that you can't copy them, so he was writing them down there. And like the dedication, that's like gotta be really cool to be in that kind of a thing where people are really, okay, this is the thing that we're just doing, this universe sort of in the music.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always. I mean, I got very interested about the band as when I started to join the band, and I'm still today asking. After having been in the band for 8 months, I'm still asking questions to Jussi and Matthias, who started the band in some garage in Hämeenlinna. I still like to ask those questions, yeah, tell me about when you started out and what bands you really listen to, and there was always funny story how they. In the end of the 90s, using the MIDI and arranging these things and how it sounded and everything. It's great. That's something that maybe me as a freelance musician sort of have missed out on, having that, like starting a band, because I've gone through the jazz school and the rock pop school and doing that freelance and stuff and but starting a band when you're a teenager in a garage and then manage to break out with that band and making even an own genre of music that Turisas somehow has become. That is a privilege that didn't happen to me, But being in that band, of course, it's great. I'm proud to be in the band and everything, and it's great to hear those stories. But Hämeenlinna, we were 17 and we had this MIDI thing, and then we added the guitar and it's some flute, and it's always fun to hear those stories.
Yeah, I was actually, I don't know how many of the listeners, all the 6 who are listening. I always say that there's 6 listeners, so maybe it's 7 nowadays. I don't know, because you're gonna listen to it. So
I'm gonna spread this to Sweden. This, Vince is gonna take his podcast to a new level.
yeah, I'm gonna start touring just with this. Yeah, not a lot of people know, but I actually was very heavily and hairily. I'm a hairy guy. Very heavily with them because their old guitar player Georg Laakso, I used to play with his brother, and we shared the rehearsal room at some point, and had a lot of parties. And yeah, I was on the first album doing backing tracks, and you have a great picture, so I'm gonna post it here also of me. I think that's from Tuska Festival 2004. And I was their accordion player for 2 gigs. I have this accordion secret, behind me. But yeah, that was cool. And yeah, I had to make a little skirt. I had a small tail, and that was awesome.
Unbelievable. It was so funny that listeners out there, when I met Vince yesterday randomly in Jack the Rooster, and I haven't seen you in maybe 2 years or something like that, when we met the first time in On the Rocks in Helsinki. But then you have read on my Facebook page that I was touring with Turisas, and then now I didn't even know that you're from Hämeenlinna, and even better that you sort of have been with the guys and doing the gigs. That's just so funny. And I in the night, I emailed the guys in the band that, hey, I met this Vince, he claims that he's been with you guys, and then when I woke up today in the hotel, I had an email from Turisas guitar player Jussi with an amazing picture, and I got the biggest laugh of the century when I saw that picture of you. It was amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely post it, on this so people can see, and that was fun. We were in Latvia, I was telling you earlier, and the best after party I've ever been. Well, let's say the most memorable. There was this big festival, a lot of metal bands, and a huge crowd. Probably nothing else to do in Latvia, so everybody was there. And then afterwards, instead of we gotta go on a bus and leave, they're like, no, we're gonna set up an after party. Like, there's this place we gotta go. Everybody's talking about this after party. Let's go there. Okay, yeah, we drive in from the island. We get to the town, and tons and tons of people, and it's like this traditional dancing. with better like pair dancing.
They thought that would fit this folkish Finnish band. Let's go to this after party where we dress up like Latvian, princesses and dance around in circles. Yeah. Oh, somebody bring the violin, bring the accordion.
And no booze, like coffee and tea and cake and buns. And then, after like an hour, we're like, are you fucking serious? We asked, is there a bar we can go to? And they were, no, but wait a minute. And like in 15 minutes, they bought a keg and, started selling beer there.
Sahtiwari.
Exactly. And definitely one of the greatest like trips because it was just so weird and that's probably what you get to do now, like just have these amazing trips and do really big elaborate shows and just do amazing stuff with this band.
Yeah, now lately when we were in Australia, we played in a festival called Soundwave. That was a very big festival. Bands like Marilyn Manson and Slipknot and Limp Bizkit and all kind of was like, I think it was almost 100 bands there. That was really great. But the America tour was great because it was the first time that Turisas was headlining on a festival in America. There was 4 bands on tour together. So and Turisas was headlining and I asked the guys like, hey, how has this tour been so far? And after 2 weeks, and they were like, compared to other shows, because it was my first time in America with them, and very successful for Turisas to sell out a lot of venues, from New York to LA, really great shows, and that was, so I think because last year I know that was a pretty hectic year for Turisas. There was a lot of things going on with band members dropping out and changing, and so I think that this new lineup has got off to a very good start. So the tour was great. The America tour was really, really great. It was absolutely living the dream in America.
Yeah. And that's what sort of everybody wants to do. But we gotta talk about the other band you've been also in, sort of like switching gears. And there was no American tours for Dingo, probably not. That was probably very different.
No, but we were in Estonia a couple of times.
Yeah, that's probably they're very big there. But yeah, how did you end up in of all the possibilities, a Swedish bald guy is in the biggest hair band in Finnish history?
Yeah, imagine that, and I'm not even gay. Anyway, no, but I became a big Dingo fan when I moved to Finland because I did some. I was doing some gigs with some cover bands, and I remember learning a lot of different Finnish songs, everything from, Epänormaali to Dingo to anything you can imagine, Katri Helena, like any kind of Finnish cover music. And I remember when we played a couple of Dingo songs like Nakatakinen tyttöjen autolla, I remember that, hey, these songs has a lot of keyboards in them, and people seem to react to these songs when we play these songs. And what is this band? It's a band called Dingo. And I have a good friend who lives in Rovaniemi who always delivered to me a lot of MP3s about Finnish music history, rock and pop music, and he sent to me the first 3 Dingo albums. And it was the year 2006 when I listened to Dingo, and I sort of, it was a very special year for me. Also 2006, I was a mess, and everything was a mess, and I listened to Apulanta, and I digged into this Finnish dark world of suicidal music and everything like that. And it was, now when I look back on it, it was a great year. But I listened to Dingo, and somehow those songs sort of stuck into me. The Kerästä Valtakunta album, it was really something that was sort of on the loop for me home. And at the same time, I was thinking about how can I listen to this? I'm a Swede. Something is wrong here. But I really liked it, and of course, it's a lot about the production of the album and everything. It's a lot of synthesizing. I love the 80s sound, and then I met Erik Valkama, who's playing guitar in Dingo, and did some gigs with him, and we got along, and and I think I said as a joke someday, hey, you should fix me into Dingo. I mean, I have all the right sound and I can do that gig. I would be great for that. And he was like, hey, that's there might be a door opening up here and soon because we're gonna do some changes in the band and blah 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 stuff like that. And then 1, 2, 3, I did a test gig and everything went well and it was very fun.
Did you get to do any recordings with Dingo?
Yeah, Dingo made was it fifth? Could it be the fifth or sixth studio album? It was a very quick production that I recorded some keyboards at home, but there was a lot of pre-recorded stuff that Risto Asikainen had done. So there wasn't really any big project spent on that album for me.
Okay, and the big question was how was Nipa? Like, are you still in contact with him? How was he like? He's not gonna find out about this show. Come on.
No, I have nothing bad to say about Nipa because he created his own reputation.
Don't we all? That's what we want to try to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I know people that don't. I know there's people out there who doesn't like me, and I really couldn't give a shit. But no, but I had no problem, working with Nippo and anybody in the band. I mean, it's for me, Dingo today it's sort of a fun cover band to play in. I mean, if you like those songs and you like to party and don't take it too seriously. That's the thing with Dingo that I knew that Dingo was for the last 25 years maybe a band that most people don't really respect that much, and I went into that project like with a smile on my face and doing my part and have a good time. Hey, for me it is a party band, I never took it so seriously, and for me it was a good steady job also for a couple of years, so I had time to do other things as well because the gigs weren't really raining on that band.
But talking about like it's a party band, they're like the ultimate part because all their songs are like big anthems, and those people who know them, they just love them, and it's like they're so personal to them because they lived it in the 80s. And you probably get you don't get the 15-year-olds in the crowd, but then you get the 40-year-old, hot mama is in there, and they know all the songs, so that's probably pretty cool. You go in and everybody knows all the lyrics and all that.
Yeah, but it's more like 60-year-old hot mama. Anyway, but I mean, I know that. I mean, musicians, of course, cannot say that they like bands like Dingo and Apolanta because that is so wrong. You have to like better bands. But I have a very good one of my best friends sent me a message yesterday actually, and he wrote that he was in a very emotional state of mind, and he used to listen to Dingo a lot when he was younger, and he told me that he had listened to Autotalo 10 times and cried. And like wrote to me a very serious message that this is absolutely the best song that has ever been done in this country. And he's my age, so it was very, very touching that a grown-up man can feel so much nostalgic feelings about a song like that. That's what music is for, I mean, some taste is. I mean, it's all about taste, and whatever. Because I can hear songs that I grew up with and get a very, very nostalgic, very emotional feeling to it. But if I would have heard that song today for the first time, I would have maybe laughed at it, So it's very easy to judge bands and judge songs, about taste. But let people listen to what they want to listen to, and if they want to cry, that's very okay,
Yeah, and like we all want to make that song anyway. That's like everybody wishes that they could write Autiotalo, which is and I'm talking about like sounds. You really can't judge something. It's sort of like in movies. You can't judge the effects and stuff like that compared to what you have today, because no, they were using what they had. And I remember there's a documentary about Aerosmith's. I think it's maybe it's Permanent Vacation. I don't exactly remember which album. No, Pump, making of Pump. And Steven is explaining about this keyboard, whatever it is, and yeah, it's got all the stuff, the violins, and you listen to it now, and it's like these are the shittiest sounds ever. But this was 87, 89, like, and that was the new stuff, and amazing that you could do that.
I mean, as a keyboard player, I'm happy that I'm not younger, because then I would have missed out on that 80s MIDI and all that, because there was so much happening in the beginning of the 80s when the analog synths sort of got a little bit out, and then the digital came in, the FM, the MIDI thing, and then the analog is now back again. So it's like there was a lot of things going on there for a keyboard player and a synth player during the 80s, and that's something that I'm happy. And same thing with computers. I mean, I'm a big Commodore 64 guy, and I'm very happy that I managed to be sort of old enough to have experienced that the video gaming progress that today it's all over the place, and it's very developed already. It's difficult to get it further, but it was so much happening then in the 80s that about synthesizers and computers, and it's very nostalgic to even talk about that era.
And I've noticed that now, because you can do sort of pretty much anything with with any machine, or it sort of takes out the creativity of how are we gonna figure this out? Because we only got this these crappy sounds, and we gotta build it up and make it into huge. And games are the same thing. Yeah, I was just looking on internet about Mission Impossible for the Commodore 64, or I think it was Impossible Mission, and I hated the game. It was so fucking hard.
Yes.
But you look at it, and there's a pixel guy going in an elevator, and that's it.
Yes.
But it was amazing.
And the game started with an 8-bit sample of "Stay a while, stay forever." Great game. But back to what you said about nowadays. Everybody has all the sounds and everything. But that's the difficult part, because a keyboard player in LA said many years ago that it's not about what sounds and the presets that you have, it's what you do with them. And that's very, very important, because nowadays people are arguing about, I'm going to make music. Should I have a Mac or a PC? And come on, you can't have a PC. You have to be a Mac. Yeah. Like, it's not about what the fuck computer you have. It's about what comes out of the speakers. It's all about that. It doesn't matter if you still have your Atari ST using the MIDI with it. It's about how it sounds. It's not about what computer you have. And, that's so much bullshit. So it's very easy to get into this gear nerdy stuff instead of making music. That's a very, very dangerous path that you can go down on. So.
I mean, it's fun, because you get to, hey, I do a little bit this and that, and it's the same with stomp boxes for guitar players, and because you can always buy more shit.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a lot of keyboards at home, and I love messing around with them. But it's also nice to sort of go back and use stuff that you've had for a while, because I'm right now working on a heavy metal album. There's a solo artist that wanted me to record some stuff, and I'm recording everything at home. And I have old EMU hardware samplers that I bought in the mid-90s that has really great sound in it. And it's really nostalgic and great to be able to now, almost 20 years later, go through the sound library in that hardware. It takes a minute to boot up the sampler and everything, and go through, here are some fucking great sounds that I can use in this project. That's really fun, because then you really I've collected and created so many sounds here, and I'm using them now 20 years later. That's fun. That's really, really fun. And also using modern sounds and stuff like that. It's nice to combine old sounds that you've collected for 20 years and also use the new shit,
All right. Hey, we've been talking a good 36 minutes, so where does the time fly? Let's sort of wrap things up. And I usually have this idea that since I don't have any advertisers, sponsors, so you can use this time to advertise yourself. So if you got any gigs coming up, of course tonight you're doing something, but this won't be out by that time. So if you got anything coming up, here's your spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with Turisas in Vanaja Festival the 21st of July. And it's gonna be fucking amazing, and you better be there. And I'm also gonna do a couple of Tuuraus gigs with Paula Koivoniemi also. Be there also.
Amazing. Hey, thanks a lot. This was really fun. And this is my favorite part of radio. You have to handshake, which nobody ever sees.
Yes, and we shook hands with our left hands, but nobody knows about that.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Okay. Who hasn't he played with, man? Probably there's no one left. If there is, you better call him soon. Even I've done some shows with Robert. We did something in Helsinki, I think a couple of years ago. We played some Aerosmith type of groove, and that was really amazing and really fun stuff. And hey, did you guys hear the new Aerosmith single already? I mean, Legendary Child. It's amazing. I love it. And if you haven't heard it, go check it out. And it's sort of really cool that White Flame and Aerosmith, we're gonna have a shared release week, sort of, because their single came out. Oh no, that actually might have been last week. Anyway, 1 week apart. Their single just came out, and our single is just coming out this Thursday. So just in 2 days, actually. So, as promised in the last episode, I am a man of my word-ish, sort of. And yeah, I promised a little teaser for you. So yeah, gonna just in a few seconds gonna play just a little bit of "I Know Where You Live." It's up-tempo murder ballad, as I like to call it, and it's about I had this idea about first making a song about a hitman, because I thought, hitmans are cool. There's, with their sniper rifles and whatever. And also, I think at this point, I had played a lot of Assassin's Creed, and they had that kind of assassin thing. So, yeah, I was really into that. But then, of course, because we're White Flame and, we're 4 horny guys. So, at some point, it turned into a female sexy hitman. Hit woman. Hit bitch. I don't know what you want to call it. But hit chick. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And it's just I think it's a good opening single. It shows our new sound. It shows a little bit of that Sweden vibe we got going on. We did the whole album, which is coming out later in 2012, and we did it with Chris Laney, and he had a lot of input on this particular song, and you can really hear his sort of trademark sound, especially in the choirs, and he has this. I don't know if I can too much give away his great secret, but well, let's just put it this way. It has something to do with sounding like a total retard, but I'm just gonna leave that at that. But hey, thanks for listening, guys. Go back and listen to all the other episodes. Like this video, share it, and here we go. I Know Where You Live by White Flame.